It was a quiet room, but Christine's mind sure wasn't. With every buzz of the phone, she jumped, her stomach twisting in perpetual knots with each notification. She knew she shouldn't be texting him like this, back and forth with no end, but the temptation was too damn real. Side, the sound of laughter and music floated up from Cody and Robin's party, the kind of vibe that makes you want to ditch your adulting responsibilities and just live a little. Christine took a deep breath, staring at the ceiling, as if it might hold the answers she was too scared to face. Little did she know, someone was about to come crashing into her carefully built world, and the walls that had hidden the family's deepest secrets would come tumbling down. Her fingers shook as she typed, then deleted, then typed again. "Are you serious?" she muttered under her breath, voice shaking. She felt like a teenager sneaking out past curfew, heart pounding, palms sweaty. This wasn't high school drama. This was her entire life that was hanging by a thread. And if anyone found out, well, let's just say there'd be hell to pay. She laughed nervously, shaking her head. "I can't believe I'm doing this," she whispered. And just like that, the night began to twist in one of those ways that makes your stomach flip and makes your heart run faster than a bad TikTok challenge. Christine's mind flashed back to Cody, the way he smiled, the way Robin was always so one step ahead, and the image of the perfectly polished family on camera. They thought they knew the Browns, but nobody saw the late-night texts, the secret glances, and the silent agreements that only Christine understood. And it was about to blow in everybody's face. She tossed the phone into her purse, wishing she could just disappear. Because in the blink of an eye, it can all come unraveled. The life you think you control, reduced to chaos you never saw coming. Side, the party roared. Music bumped so hard it rattled the windows, lights flashing in a blur of neon. Christine could hear Robin laughing, Cody cracking jokes, and a few of the kids running around like nothing in the world could ever go wrong. Contrast hit her like a cold splash of water. Inside, her world was falling apart, while out there they were all playing some kind of game she just couldn't win, at least, not without burning some bridges. What if tonight everything changed? What if the truth came out and nothing was ever the same again? She paced, heels clicking on the hardwood. Every step echoed the tension in her chest. The secret she carried wasn't some harmless fling, it was a bomb ready to detonate. Every laugh from the party made it worse, every bass drop a reminder that normal life was a lie. She slid down to the floor, hugging her knees. "How did it get this bad?" she whispered. Suddenly, the thought of Meri, Christine's oldest friend turned quiet adversary. Barging into her reality was just too much to bear. Just when you think you finally get control over everything, life has a way of throwing a curveball to smack you in the face. Her phone buzzed again. Another text. She froze. It was him, the one person she really shouldn't be talking to but just couldn't stop thinking about. Her fingers hovered over the screen. One message could change everything. One wrong word and it would set off a chain reaction that no TLC camera could ever truly capture. She laughed a short, nervous laugh, like someone trying to convince themselves it was all fine. The thing is, fine is just a mask, and tonight masks were about to fall off. She looked in the mirror, trying to find herself in the reflection staring back. A girl who once had dreams of stability and love, now entangled in a web of secrets she didn't know how to escape. Her hair was messy, her eyes tired but burning with this frantic energy that only comes when you know something huge is about to drop. She pulled out a lipstick, applied it roughly, smudged half of it, and didn't care. She was going down looking like a boss. The thing with secrets is, they don't remain buried for long. And when they resurface, the shockwave reaches everyone around you. Then came the knock, light, almost hesitant, but it made Christine's heart skip. She froze, holding her breath, every instinct screaming at her to hide. She peeked through the blinds. A shadow. Could it be Meri? Could it be one of the others catching on to the chaos brewing inside? She swallowed hard, wishing she could rewind the night, wishing she could erase the texts, the calls, the whispers of temptation that now had a life of their own. Because when the walls close in and everyone's watching, there's nowhere to hide, and no way to control what's going to hit. The night stretched on, each minute heavier than the last. Christine's mind raced through every scenario, every fallout, every argument she could hear in her head before it even happened. Would Cody notice? Would Robin suspect? Had Meri already pieced together something? And the most terrifying consideration of all? Some secrets, when they're finally let loose, can't ever be stuffed back in as much as you'd like them to be. One moment can change everything, one step can break it all, and one truth can shatter the carefully built world you thought you knew. Her phone buzzed again. This time she didn't hesitate. She read the message, her eyes wide, heart hammering in her chest. "Shit," she whispered. Just like that, the night went from tense to explosive. Christine realized she wasn't just part of a secret anymore. She was the epicenter of this storm that would hit the Browns harder than anyone could have imagined. And trust me, by the end of the night, nothing will ever be the same. Not for Christine, not for Cody, and certainly not for anybody else. Christine's heart was still racing from that last text, that one message that made her whole body tingle and freeze all at once. She kicked off her heels and padded softly toward the window, peering out to see the party in full swing. Robin was laughing with her usual perfection, Cody's laugh booming as if he owned the room, and somewhere in the mix, Meri's keen eyes seemed to scan, always watching. Christine felt that all too familiar knot tighten in her stomach. She was playing a dangerous game, and everyone else was clueless. Secrets are fun until they're not, and Christine was about to find out just how messy life could get. Her phone buzzed again, lighting up with his name. She almost groaned out loud. Why now? Why tonight? But curiosity and desire had a way of taking over logic, and before she knew it, her thumb was swiping open the message. It was short, teasing, a little dangerous. "I can't stop thinking about you." Her stomach did a weird flip, that kind that makes you both excited and terrified. She knew this was fire and gasoline, and if it exploded, there'd be no putting it out. One wrong move could ruin everything, and yet she couldn't resist stepping closer to the edge. Christine's mind went back to the stolen moments, the whispers in the dark, the way his hand would linger a second too long, the way he made her feel like she was someone else entirely, free, someone not chained by this perfect, staged life Cody insisted on for the cameras. It was intoxicating, addictive, and dangerous as hell. She let out a nervous laugh, shaking her head. "What the hell am I doing?" she muttered. But the answer was simple. She was after a thrill she knew she shouldn't be. Because nothing tastes sweeter than a secret you're not supposed to have. Party outside was getting louder, the music and chatter a chaotic soundtrack that was making her pulse quicken. She knew she had to be careful. Cody could walk in at any second, Robin might sense something, Meri might. Well, Meri always knows. That woman has this way of seeing right through you like some damn psychic or something. Christine's phone buzzed again, and she shoved it in her pocket this time, trying to act normal. She forced a deep breath, trying to calm her racing thoughts. But the truth was, calm had been a luxury she hadn't enjoyed in months, and that was slipping further away. Minutes became hours. Christine paced again, the hardwood cold against her bare feet. Every laugh from outside, each clink of the glasses, made her flinch. Tension was unbearable, like sitting on the edge of a cliff in heels. She couldn't think straight, couldn't focus, and worst of all, couldn't stop. Her fingers itched to text him again, to respond, to feed the fire. She felt like a teenager sneaking out behind her parents' back, heart pounding with thrill and terror at once. Some secrets are just too damn good to keep, but the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Christine looked in the mirror again. Her reflection looked tired yet fiercely survivor-like, having been at the center of a storm and making it out barely. A smirk contorted her lips. She knew the game she was playing was risky, but there was something almost empowering about it, too. There was something about holding a piece of truth nobody else knew, a spark only she could control. The phone buzzed one more time, and she almost dropped it, his name flashing across the screen like temptation in neon lights. And let's be honest, temptation doesn't knock, it barges in. Then the front door creaked. Christine froze. Her eyes widened. Someone was here. Her heart slammed against her ribs like a drum solo at a rock concert. Could it be him? Could it be Meri? Or worse. Code. She swallowed hard, sliding behind the couch as shadows stretched across the floor. Every second felt stretched, every creak amplified like the world was watching her every move. She could feel sweat prickling her forehead, palms clammy. When the past collides with the present, chaos isn't a maybe but a sure thing. A voice floated from the hall, airy yet laced with a razor-sharp edge. Christine. Her name wafted through the air, innocent to any passing ear, but it was a weight of a kind that cinches the gut. She peeked carefully and her eyes locked with Meri's. That woman wasn't here for fun. Oh no, Meri's presence was deliberate, surgical, a calculated storm. Christine's pulse tripled. She knew her secret wasn't safe anymore. Every moment leading up to this had been building, and now the tower was trembling, ready to fall. And once the tower falls, there's no picking up the pieces the same way. Christine blew out a slow breath, attempting to steady herself, but it was hopeless. Her mind racing with the scenarios of confrontation and explosions, secrets spilling everywhere in front of everyone. She thought about Cody, about Robin, about Meri, about the messy truth buried beneath smiles and perfect Instagram moments. Tonight wasn't just any party. Tonight was the spark that could ignite everything, the tipping point that would take a carefully curated life and turn it into pure chaos. 'Cause in the world of sister wives, secrets don't just stay hidden, they hunt you. Buzzed one last time. She looked down, eyes wide as she read. Simple. Dire. Enough to make her knees weak and her mind spin. We need to meet. Now. Christine bit her lip, torn between running and stepping into the fire. She knew that whatever happened next would define not just her night, but her entire life. And in the distance, laughter and music carried on, oblivious to the storm that was about to hit the Browns' perfect little world. One decision. One gathering. One secret about to explode, and there's no going back. The door swung open, and Meri stepped inside like she owned the place. Her heels clicked on the hardwood floor, each step a deliberate, measured movement like a countdown to a bomb about to go off. Christine froze behind the couch, heart racing so hard she could have sworn Cody might hear it from across the room. Meri's gaze cut through the living room, keen as any hawk's, before landing dead on where Christine was hiding. Meri wasn't here to play games, she was here to expose the truth. Christine, Meri said, voice smooth but cutting like a knife. We need to talk. That simple sentence was loaded, more dangerous than any curse. Christine swallowed hard, trying to force a calm she didn't feel. She peeked out, blinking rapidly, trying to play it cool. Hey, Meri, she stammered, voice cracking. She hated that she sounded weak. She hated that her body betrayed her fear. 'Cause when Meri's involved, weakness gets exposed and fast. Meri took another step forward, her gaze unwavering. Don't even try it, she said, voice low. I know things. Things you think are hidden. The words hit Christine like a punch to the gut. Her pulse shot up. She could feel the walls closing in, the music outside fading into a tense, surreal silence. Every laugh, every clink of glass felt like it belonged to another world, one she couldn't reach anymore. Secrets aren't just dangerous, they're deadly when someone's onto you. Christine edged backward, her eyes darting to the phone in her pocket. Should she text him? Call for help? No. Meri's stare pinned her in place like a wild animal caught in headlight beams. You think you can have your fun and no one notices? Meri's voice was low, though it rumbled like thunder. You've been sneaking around and I've got receipts, texts, messages, all of it. Don't think I don't see it. 'Cause Meri sees everything and she doesn't miss a damn thing. Christine's mouth went dry. She opened it, then closed it. Words wouldn't come. Her mind was racing, flipping through excuses, lies, any escape hatch she could find. But there wasn't one. Not tonight. Not with Meri's eyes drilling into her like lasers. Every heartbeat sounded louder than the last in her ears. Panic and adrenaline clashed. She was dizzy, disoriented, and oh so exposed. When you get caught, the thrill becomes terror in an instant. Meri took a step closer. You think this stops with me? No way. Cody, Robin, they deserve to know. You can't keep hiding, Christine. Every word came down hard, as if a hammer had hit a fragile glass sculpture, shaking the life Christine thought she'd so carefully curate. She had thought she was the smart one, unreachable, not tied into the brown chaos, but tonight proved that wrong. Tonight, she was just another piece in the storm. The bigger the lie, the louder it crashes. Christine felt sweat bead on her forehead. Her hands shook, and she had to steady herself on the back of the couch. Meri, please, she started, but Meri cut her off. Save it. I don't want excuses. I want honesty. And right now, that's your biggest problem. Simple words. Lethal. No room for argument, no wiggle space. Christine's mind screamed for a way out, a back door, anything. But there was none. 'Cause sometimes honesty comes at the worst possible time. Tension was suffocating. Christine's phone buzzed again, and she glanced down, tempted to peek, tempted to escape into the digital world. But Meri's gaze caught it mid-movement. Don't even think about it, Meri snapped, voice sharper than ever. Christine froze, eyes wide, palms sweating, body trembling. The walls seemed to close in while the music outside faded, replaced by the deafening sound of her own panic. In that moment, Christine realized secrets aren't safe anywhere, not even in your own pocket. There was a slight curve to Meri's lips as she stepped closer, her words satisfied, not amused. You're cornered. Christine's back hit the couch as she was trapped. Everything weighed down, the lies, the stolen moments, the thrill. And somewhere deep, a small, fearful voice whispered, this changes everything. Once it starts coming out, there's no picking up the pieces. Christine swallowed hard, trying to collect herself. Meri. I didn't dash, but she couldn't finish. Even to her own ears, her words sounded weak, pathetic. Meri raised a finger, silencing her mid-sentence. Don't. Just don't. Cody needs to hear this too, and you? You've already lost control. The reality of the situation hit Christine like a freight train. Tonight, nothing would ever be the same. Because once the lies are out, the fallout doesn't wait, it hits hard and fast. Meri turned slightly, as if to check her surroundings, then refocused on Christine. You're not the only one with secrets you've been keeping, she said quietly, almost a whisper, yet loud enough to break the calm. Christine's stomach twisted. What could she mean? Was there more? Just like that, the room felt smaller, the stakes higher, the tension unbearable. Because in the Brown family, one secret always leads to another, and tonight the dominoes were falling. Christine's mind raced. Cody, Robin, the party outside, all played in her head along with the sudden underlying tension ready to explode. She knew Meri was right, control was gone. The illusion of safety, of keeping things hidden, was over. And as Meri stepped closer, Christine braced herself for the storm she knew was headed her way, a battle that would change everything. One meeting, one truth, one night, and there's no turning back now. The front door slammed once more, but this time it wasn't just Meri. It was Cody and Robin stepping in like a tempest. Cody's face reflected confusion and irritation, his eyes darting from one person to another, while Robin's narrowed, keen, calculating eyes seemed to gauge every word. Christine's heart raced as she felt herself in a panic, cornered like some sort of rat in a cage. 'Cause nothing is hidden when Cody and Robin are in the room. Cody. Meri's here, Christine muttered, attempting to sound casual, but her voice thickened on a crack, loud enough for the tension to spike. Cody glanced from one woman to another, sensing the electricity in the air, the silent war brewing. Robin's lips pressed tight, eyes scanning, catching each twitch, each falter. What's going on? Cody asked, his voice calm but brittle, like a rope stretched too thin. Sometimes calm is just the quiet before the storm. Meri didn't wait for an invitation. We need to talk now, she said, stepping forward. Robin crossed her arms, tilting her head slightly, eyes sharp. "This about Christine?" she asked, voice laced with suspicion. Christine swallowed hard, feeling her pulse in her throat. Her mind was racing, scrambling for excuses, for some way to defuse the ticking bomb in front of her. But there was no hiding, because the more you run, the faster the truth catches up. Cody rubbed the back of his neck, his jaw tight. "All right, let's hear it," he said, but his eyes never left Meri. Christine's stomach twisted. This was it, the moment the lies could crumble her world. Meri took a breath, voice low and dangerous. "Christine's been sneaking around, texting, hiding things. It's bigger than you think, Cody." The words landed like a punch, echoing through the room, leaving a thick, suffocating silence in their wake. The moment a truth is let out, it cannot be taken back. Christine's hands shook, clutching the edge of the couch like a lifeline. It's not like that," she tried, but her voice was thin, weak, trembling. Robin's eyes flashed a mix of anger and disbelief. "Not like that?" "Come on, Christine," she said, stepping closer, voice low but fierce. Cody pinched the bridge of his nose, frustration building. He could feel the tension, the lies, the chaos ready to explode. 'Cause some lies are louder than any confession. Meri took another step closer to Christine, her words cutting deep. "Cody, you deserve to know. Robin, you too. You've all been kept in the dark, and it ends tonight." The verge of Christine's knees buckled. She silently screamed in her mind, "This can't be happening, my perfectly created image, my little secrets unraveling before she knew how to react." Every step Meri took was like a countdown towards some disastrous moment. Secrets have a way of backfiring when the wrong people find out. Cody finally raised his voice and broke the silence. "Christine, what the hell is going on? Be straight with me." His tone was sharp, commanding, a tone that drew truth out. Christine shook her head, panic clawing at her throat. I didn't mean for anyone to find out," she whispered, though even in her ears it sounded hollow, fake. Robin's gaze pierced right through her, cutting away any pretense. "'Cause when the truth hits, everybody feels it." A slight smirk curved Meri's lips, satisfaction hidden under controlled anger. "It's not about intentions, Christine. It's about consequences. And right now, the fallout? It's gonna be brutal." Christine felt the weight of every lie, every secret, pressing down like a ton of bricks. Her carefully constructed walls were collapsing, piece by piece, right in front of Cody and Robin. She realized tonight nothing could save her. And once dominoes begin falling, there's no stopping the crash. Cody stepped forward, his voice tight. "We need the whole story now," he said, eyes ablaze with anger and hurt. Christine took a shaky breath, trying to steady herself. The room seemed to shrink, thick with tension, fear, and anticipation. Robin's eyes never left her, the quiet judgment as heavy as a gavel. Every second felt like an eternity. Every heartbeat was like a drumbeat to impending chaos. 'Cause when a family secret explodes, everyone gets scorched. Meri's gaze softened a bit, but the edge in her voice remained. "Christine, you made choices, and now we all have to deal with them. Cody, Robin, you have the right to know everything." Christine's palms were sweating, her chest tight. She realized the game was over. There was no going back, the mask was off, the truth out, and she could never fix the damage. In the Brown family, once a secret is revealed, the fallout does not wait. Cody ran a hand through his hair. The tension was palpable. "All right, start from the beginning," he said, voice steady but loaded with warning. Christine closed her eyes, swallowed, and braced herself. Every word she was about to spill would reshape the night, the relationships, the very foundation of trust in the room. The storm had arrived, and she stood in its eye with no escape. 'Cause once honesty hits, the calm before the chaos is over. Christine's chest heaved, words catching in her throat like she'd swallowed a knife. Cody's eyes bored into her, commanding truth, and Robin's stare was sharp enough to cut through steel. Meri didn't blink, her presence steady, unforgivingly reminding her the game was over. Christine finally pushed herself to speak, voice trembling. I've been seeing someone texting, hiding it. I didn't mean for it to happen. 'Cause when lies are exposed, regrets hit harder than punches. Cody's jaw tightened, the color draining from his face. Seeing someone? Christine, what are you talking about? His voice had turned incredulous, disbelief and hurt combining in a toxic cocktail. Robin remained crossed-armed, though screaming otherwise in body language that she was buying none of it. Come on, girl, she said, voice laced with sarcasm. Stop dancing around it. Say it straight. Christine's palms were sweating. Her fingers were trembling like little betrayed signals of guilt. When the truth is raw, every second stretches into a lifetime. Meri's lips pressed together, her eyes flashing with controlled fire. It's not just about you, Christine, she said, voice low but cutting. You've been messing with everyone's trust. Cody, Robin, the whole damn family played us, and now we all pay the price. Christine's stomach twisted, nausea hitting as the walls she built crumbled. She could feel the tension physically, like the air itself had thickened, suffocating her in the center of the living room battlefield. Because when trust shatters, the fallout doesn't just sting, it devastates. Cody ran a hand through his hair, pacing slightly. Why didn't you say anything sooner? He muttered, his voice rough. Christine shook her head, her eyes prickling with tears. I was scared of losing you, scared of what everyone would think. I didn't know how to stop it. The words hung in the air, raw and exposed. Robin stepped closer, her voice sharper. Stop with the excuses, Christine. Actions speak louder than apologies, and right now, they scream. Because excuses can't fix the chaos they create. Meri's tone softened for a heartbeat, but the weight of truth remained. Christine, you've got to understand your choices have consequences. Cody, Robin, it's not about hurt feelings. It's about respect, trust, and the reality of what happens when lies pile up. Christine's legs felt weak, every heartbeat pounding like a drum of doom. She realized the night wasn't just a confrontation, it was a reckoning, and there was no walking away without scars. The moment the mask falls, everyone sees the real you. Cody's face shifted, a mix of anger and disbelief. I trusted you, Christine. I thought we were on the same team. But this feels like betrayal. Robin's expression hardened. Team? Girl, you've been playing solo the whole damn time. Now everyone's bleeding because of it. Christine's voice cracked, desperate, trying to explain herself. It wasn't supposed to get this far. I didn't want anyone to hurt. But her words barely landed, lost in the storm of emotions in the room. For the higher the betrayal, the louder the echoes. Meri stepped forward, her eyes never leaving Christine. And hurt? Yeah, it's happening. But tonight it's also about clarity. We need to know everything. No filters, no lies. Christine's body shook, tears streaming, mind spinning. She could see the shock in Cody's eyes, the judgment in Robin's, the unwavering resolve in Meri's. It was all too much, every secret, every slip, every hidden word, all colliding in one explosive moment. But when the truth hits, it burns like fire in frozen bones. Christine's shoulders fell as exhaustion and fear overcame her. Okay, she whispered, her voice could barely be heard. I've been texting someone outside the family. I thought I could handle it. I didn't know it would get this messy. Cody's fists clenched at his sides, eyes burning with a mix of betrayal and disbelief. Robin shook her head slowly, jaw tight. Messy? Girl, this is beyond messy, it's catastrophic. Because when secrets go nuclear, messy doesn't even begin to describe it. For one brief moment, the hardness in Meri's eyes relented, but in a flash, the steel was back in her voice. Christine, this is it. Truth is out. Now? You gotta face the consequences. We all do. Christine's knees all but buckled as reality hit her like an oncoming wave. She knew she couldn't take it back, couldn't seal the cracks anymore. The altercation was far from over. In fact, the aftereffects were only just beginning. Once the storm hits, no one walks away untouched. The weight of the space in the room was heavy, as if someone had sucked the oxygen right out of the house. Christine slumped on the couch, hands covering her face, her tears soaking into her sleeves. Cody sat across from her, his jaw clenched tightly and staring at the floor as if the words he'd just heard weren't real. Robin hovered near them, arms crossed, every muscle in her body tense as a coiled spring. Meri stood by the window, looking out into the night sky. Her silhouette was straight and unyielding. Sometimes the quiet after chaos is louder than any scream. The tension didn't clear, it festered. Every glance cut like a jab, every pause a countdown to another explosion. Christine tried to speak again, but the words faltered and fell flat. Finally, Cody lifted his head, his eyes bloodshot, and muttered, How long have you been hiding this?" His voice broke, a clear revelation of anger and hurt that no amount of apology could touch or heal. Robin snorted, her head shaking. "Girl, you really thought you could pull this off? Nah, the truth's always gonna bite you back. When lies are exposed, the shadows last longer than the light." Meri finally turned, her eyes piercing and unyielding. "Christine, you've gotta get it. This isn't just about texting, sneaking around, or whatever you call it. You've shaken everything, trust, respect, even our image as a family. And Cody, Robin, you're not off the hook either. How we handle this matters." The words cut like ice, sharp and undeniable. Christine's hand shook, her realization that the storm wasn't just about her, but about everyone tangled in this web. Because the deeper the betrayal, the heavier the chain of consequences. Cody ran a hand over his face, voice low but searing. "We built this family on rules, on faith, on honesty. All of it feels like a joke right now." Robin stepped closer to Christine, voice cutting. "You can cry, you can beg, but you gotta own it. You've got no excuses left." Christine's breath hitched as the guilt crushed her chest. Her eyes darted between the three of them, Meri's calm fury, Robin's sharp disappointment, Cody's heartbreak. It was suffocating. The fallout isn't gentle. It's a freight train that hits every heart it encounters. Meri's voice broke the silence of the room, even and measured. "Now we figure out next step. Rebuild or let this destroy us. There are consequences to choices, and tonight's just the first chapter in a long story." Christine's head fell into her hands. She felt every ounce of shame, every second of judgment, the weight of the family's gaze like a spotlight she couldn't escape. Cody's hands clenched into fists, Robin's eyes narrowed. Tension crackled like a live wire. And when the walls of trust fall, everybody feels the rubble. Christine's voice was no more than a whisper, but it cut through the tension. I don't know if I can fix this. I don't even know where to start." Cody exhaled sharply, leaning back, eyes closing for a brief second as if holding back a flood. "Start with honesty, start with accountability, but girl, the road's gonna be rough." Robin's expression softened slightly but remained cautious. "No shortcuts. No hiding. You want to fix this? You gotta face it head on, 'cause rebuilding after betrayal isn't about words, it's about blood, sweat, and raw courage." Meri folded her arms, looking to both Cody and Robin. "We all gotta face ourselves. This mess isn't all Christine's, it's a reflection of ourselves. Every reaction, every decision. It's part of what we'll become next. And believe me, if we don't handle it right, it's gonna get uglier than you think." Christine's body shook, the enormity of what she had done slowly setting in. Confrontation was done, but the battle? That was just beginning. Once the dust settles, the real work begins, and it's brutal. Camera lingered on the room, capturing the fractured family in raw light. Silence wedged itself between the spaces of a few words as each person was lost to their own storm of thoughts. Christine wiped away her tears to clear her vision. Cody rubbed his temples hard, struggling with anger and disappointment. Robin paced slightly, mind racing through scenarios and judgments. And Meri? Still composed, the silent authority in the room, the anchor amidst chaos. When a family cracks at the seams, every heartbeat is tinged with tension. There was quiet in the house now, but it was radioactive. Christine retreated to the kitchen, sliding into a chair like weight had physically pressed down upon her. Her hands fidgeted with a glass of water, eyes darting toward the hallway where Cody and Robin were whispering. Every step, every glance, felt loaded like the very walls themselves were eavesdropping on them. Sometimes silence screams louder than any words could. Cody finally walked over, pacing back and forth. "Christine, we need to talk, just you and me." His voice was low but heavy enough to make her flinch. She nodded, unsure if she was ready for the verbal smackdown coming her way. "Look," he started, rubbing the back of his neck, "what you did. It ain't just a mistake. It's a bomb in the middle of everything we've built. And trust? Trust doesn't just snap back, girl. You broke it, and it's gonna take more than sorry to fix. 'Cause some mistakes echo louder than a war drum in the night." Christine's voice faltered. "I know. I messed up. I can't even explain why I did it. Her words cut off as Cody shook his head. Just doesn't cut it anymore. We're all living in the aftermath of your choices and everybody's hurt." He paused, eyes dark, searching hers for some glimmer of understanding. "Robin's hurt. Mary's hurt. And me? I'm furious and heartbroken. Don't think for a second that your tears erase what's happened. Truth hits harder than any apology ever could." Meanwhile, Robin wasn't sitting idle. She found Christine alone in the living room later, the tension still thick. "Girl, let me tell you straight," she said, crossing her arms. "You think Cody's the only one mad? Nah, we're all in this fire now. You gotta realize that every move you make from here, it's gonna be watched, judged, and remembered. Ain't nobody just letting this slide." Christine flinched, nodding, feeling the weight of Robin's words like bricks pressing down on her chest. Because every action after betrayal is a test of survival. Meanwhile, Meri kept her distance but stayed lethal with her presence. She watched interactions like a hawk, neither missing nor including anything, weighing every reaction in her mind. Later, she cornered Cody quietly, her tone icy. "You can't fix this overnight, and don't even think about sugarcoating the aftermath. Christine's actions are a reflection of all of us. You and I, Robin, and everyone we're on the line. Handle it wrong, and it blows up bigger than you can imagine." Cody nodded, realizing the storm was far from over. Sometimes the calmest voice cuts the deepest. Christine ran to her room, slamming the door shut behind her, but guilt was unforgiving. She could hear hushed murmurs of the others outside, plotting and judging and analyzing. Every footstep, every muffled laugh, all served as pointed reminders that nothing was going to be easy from now on. Her phone buzzed a text from an unknown number, threatening to drop a secret she hadn't even confessed yet. Panic struck. She was stuck in a maze with no exits, every turn leading to new tension, new drama. Secrets don't stay buried, they crawl back when you least expect them. Cody sat in the den later, replaying the day in his head. "How did it come to this?" he muttered under his breath. Robin sat beside him, sipping coffee, eyes sharp. "Because people lie, hide, and think they're untouchable." "Lesson learned," she snapped. He nodded slowly, feeling the weight of accountability pressing down like a ton of bricks. Outside, Mary's silhouette moved past the window, silent, controlling, unyielding, an invisible force reminding everyone that in this family nothing stays hidden for long. When you think the storm's over, it's only just arriving. The night wore on, full of whispers, unspoken accusations, and the hum of unresolved tension. Each family member felt the invisible lines pulling tighter, some ready to snap, others desperately holding on. Christine's reflection in the mirror was that of a changed, scared woman, knowing every choice now had lifetime consequences. Cody's clenched jaw, Robin's vigilant eyes, Mary's silent power, they were all pieces on a chessboard of chaos. 'Cause in families like this, every move can trigger an avalanche. Morning light seeped through the blinds, but it did nothing to soften the storm inside the brown house. The air was thick with expectation, each member bracing for impact. First to appear was Christine, her shoulders tight, her jaw set. She could feel the weight of yesterday weighing down like a lead blanket. Some days hit harder than a sucker punch, and today was one of them. Cody appeared next, moving as if he owned the space while feeling the cracks beneath his calm exterior. "We need to lay it all out," he said, voice firm but with a tinge of weariness laced through it. Robin sat stiffly on the couch, eyes flashing their unspoken warnings. Meri hovered close by, arms crossed, a silent storm ready to explode. When the calm before the storm fades, chaos doesn't knock, it barges in. Christine swallowed hard, breaking the silence. I need to be honest. Everything that's happened, I can't change it, but I need to say it. The words hung in her room like heavy smoke, suffocating, inescapable. Cody's eyes narrowed. "Go on," he said, voice controlled but tight. Robin leaned forward, tapping her nails on the couch, and even Meri's breathing sounded sharper. Truth has a way of ripping through walls faster than any lie ever could. Then came the bombshell. Christine revealing the secret she had been hiding, the affair, the betrayal, the text messages, the evidence that no one expected. The room was filled with gasps. Robin's hand flew to her mouth. Meri's eyes went ice cold, while Cody's face clenched as if he was trying to hold the walls of his world together. The quiet house had become a battlefield of emotions. Once the truth drops, nothing is ever the same again. Cody exploded, pacing the floor. "Do you realize what this means? For all of us? For the family? For the kids?" His words cut sharp, jagged with hurt and disbelief. Robin's voice was louder now, trembling but pointed. "We trusted you. Do you even understand what trust looks like? Or have you erased that memory completely?" Christine lowered her gaze, tears spilling freely. I know. I messed up. Bad. And I don't even know if I can fix it. Because when betrayal walks through the door, forgiveness is not always waiting on the couch. Meri finally spoke, her voice slicing through the tension like a razor. "This isn't just about Christine. This is about all of us and the mess we have been avoiding for years. You want peace? You want understanding? Then own it, all of it. No hiding, no excuses." The room went dead silent. Each word lingered, heavy and unshakable. Words can wound deeper than actions ever could. The aftermath was chaos. The family fragmented into corners, each member wrestling with shock, anger, and betrayal. But amidst the turmoil, tiny sparks of clarity began to form. Christine's confession, as painful as it was, forced a reckoning. Robin and Cody faced the real cracks in their bond. Meri, ever the silent observer, realized the family's foundation was shakier than ever. For the viewers, every twist, every reveal was a hook they could not seem to escape. Because once the curtain falls, the echoes of this episode will haunt them, and you, forever. Finally, Christine looked around the room, voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry, and I'll do whatever it takes to make this right." Cody's face had softened for a fraction of a second before firming again. Anger and hurt mingled in Robin's shining eyes, and Meri was a silent storm-a force unto herself. The house had survived the storm, but the family? That still remained to be seen. These are families in which the end of a storm isn't peace. Instead, it's the beginning of the next hurricane. Tension did not dissipate as the camera pulled back. The audience could almost hear the heartbeat of a family standing on the edge, with all secrets now bare and all the consequences of that to explode in episodes to come. This was not closure, but chaos, cinematic and raw, leaving fans desperate for what happens next.